Today what we're going to do is wire up my fog lights. In my last video I showed you how to install the fog lights. I got the bezel here with the LED bar, fog lights here. I wired up the LED, but at the time I did not have the wiring harness for the LEDs, so that's what we're going to do today. Here's the harness, kind of all spread out here. Got my two ends here that plug into the actual fog lights. This area here, it has the relay and a fuse, and then pretty much it has your ground wire and your hot wire. So just ground this to some screw to the frame, this one to the battery terminal, and then this white wire, even though it's connected, I'm going to have to wind up cutting it because this part actually goes inside your car. It also has a ground and a kind of like a power wire. Power wire you're going to have to put into the fuse box on some fuse that comes on when you turn on your ignition. Then it also has this switch, push button switch on and off, that I'll mount somewhere on the dash, and it basically plugs into this little clip inside. So really one of the trickiest parts is probably just going to get this white wire through the firewall of the car and into the engine compartment. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, the first thing I got to do is the wiring harness cable that they gave me. The ends that you actually connect to the fog lights have just two ends like this on it, which really ain't going to do me any good because the connector I have has to be something like this. So I also bought two sets of they're kind of just like adapters or extensions for the fog light harness. I bought them separately. They're only like $5 total. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to cut off this end, snip off this end, and use some solder, my little soldering gun there, and solder them together so I can plug it in after I wire it all up. Okay, here's what I've done so far. I've taken the wiring bundle and actually shot it straight down here. Fed the main wire down there, and actually, I don't know if you can see, but here it is right here. I kind of ran it along, tie wrapped it to some other bundles of wire all the way over, down through there. Now let me see if I can show you what it looks like underneath. So here it is, attached to the fog light underneath, and the wire just runs straight across to the other one. Back up here, I kind of snake the wire from there. The other one that has the relay ran along here. I secured the relay on this nut right here. I'll put the bolt on in a second. The ground wire, I found a ground screw right here. So the fuse is right here. I just kind of tucked it under there, and there's the power. So after I get it ready, I'll pop the battery thing and connect it there. Here's the other wire that I said I have to cut through the firewall. I cut one end off, the other end's inside the car. Down in there is the wiring bundle that goes through the firewall, and what I have done is I was able to take a clothes hanger and poke it all the way through, and you can't see it, but I see the clothes wire poking out there. So this is my plan. Here's the clothes wire on the other end. I just real tight put some electrical tape. Here's the other end of the wire. I kind of tape there. I'm going to grab the other end. I'll probably have a long pair of needle nose or something to get a hold of it, and I'll pull it through, and hopefully it'll pull this white wire as well, and then we'll finish all the connections and hopefully we'll be good to go. Okay, well, there she is. You see it goes back down there, wiring, no damage done. I actually had to get my 13-year-old son to help me out here because I had to guide it on the inside, and well, he had to push it through the inside, and I had to kind of guide it up through that little crack, and then I used just some pliers, reached down in there, grabbed the end of the wire hanger, and pulled it through. So we're good to go. I'm gonna connect these two, solder these two white wires together, and finish up on the inside. Okay, I got my soldering joint done for the two wires. One goes all the way back to the firewall into the compartment. Got my heat shrink tube on here. I just gotta heat it up to shrink it up a bit. Inside, I have a GPS that I've already wired into the fuse box, and I only have one fuse inside here that actually activates when the ignition is started. So what I did was I just tapped into that. The fuse is plenty big enough for the switch that's going to operate these fog lights. So I'm just going to plug that in up. Get a flashlight. Up there you can see that I have a screw that I've used. The black wire actually goes up to there. There's also a white wire for the GPS that I have, and it secures to the ground. So now I'm just going to plug this in, tidy up all the wires. This plugs into my switch. So after I tidy up all the wires, I'll route that. I think for my car, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the switch right here on this little spot right next to the original, the regular light switch. So it has double-sided tape on it. And this wiring kit is from Winjet, W-I-N-J-E-T. It's just a universal fog light. They're pretty popular, I guess. The first time I ordered it, it came with a different switch that I didn't want, so I sent it back, and they were pretty good about sending me the correct one. So I'm going to tidy up all the wires, and I'll be right back and test it out. Alright, we're all done. Here's the light. I got it hooked up right there. It actually has a green light and a red light. However, I got it wired into the key, so when you turn it off, it'll automatically go off even if you accidentally leave it on. So it's red right now. It means it's off. Car is running. And you can see that just my LEDs are on and not the fog lights. Now I'll turn it on. Green light, it's on. And now we got the fogs on as well. So I'm going to shut the car off and leave the switch on. Switch is on. Car is off. And if we go back out here, everything's going to go off. I got a 30-minute delay on my headlights, so they'll go off in a second. But fog lights are off. So it works out pretty good. The only problem I ran into was the actual switch itself. Let me turn on the key. The actual switch itself is okay. It's kind of just a $1 switch or whatever it is. But it's not too bad. But on the back they give you the double-sided tape. It wasn't good enough. It didn't stick, so I actually just got some 3M tape put on top of that, and then it should be good to go. Hopefully the light at nighttime won't be too bad, but when I'm sitting in the car, this is my view. So you really don't see it too much. You know, I know it's there. You can see it through here, but shouldn't be too bad. Works out pretty good. Hope you enjoyed.